And within 10 days, I had 3 low appraisals on my listing.
Let me tell you why I'm shocked. I would never get a low appraisal, like a lender calls or the agent calls or someone emails you. I would never turn around and immediately tell the seller.
No, because do you know what their first thing is? Why? Is it a good appraisal? Did they make a mistake? Well, I don't know because I haven't reviewed it yet. And I think even they sometimes forget that appraisals are subjective.
It's subjective.
There is a clause in the appraisal that says this is plus or minus a percentage. Like this is a range. I feel the house is worth. I feel the granite in this kitchen. This
appraisal is bad.
Right.
Because the appraiser is going to get this dispute.
It can have no feelings.
Yeah.
No emotions.
Right.
It needs to be written as factual as possible.
Like he wanted to make people miserable.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand appraiser. Sometimes I feel like we're on a bit of a power trip. Hi y'all, welcome to Hustle Humbly.
We're Alissa and Katy, 2 active realtors in the Baton Rouge market. We work for 2 different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Hi Alissa.
Hi Katy.
Welcome to episode 363. I have to say, I was a little shocked that we would be doing this topic. This is appraisal dispute.
Yes.
And now it is appraisal disputes with an S.
Yes. We always say take our problems and learn from them.
Yeah.
And within 10 days, I had 3 low appraisals on my listing.
Let me tell you why I'm shocked. First of all, I do feel like there are seasons where you'll hear a lot of people in your marketplace saying appraisals keep coming in low.
Yes.
It is common knowledge that as the market shifts, whether it's, getting better and maybe more sales are happening and prices are going up and maybe they're bidding wars, or if it's getting worse, like things are sitting on the market, people are coming down on price, maybe like the overall neighborhood prices are going down. My old broker used to always say, appraisers are behind on this because they're looking at what sold in the past, not what's happening to current listings on the market.
Right.
So it comes as a bit of a shock to me that they aren't able to use past comps to get this to work. And now all of a sudden they're like, no, these are all low. Are you surprised?
I was surprised at 2 out of 3 of them.
Okay.
1, I wasn't too surprised.
And we are going to deep dive your case studies in this episode.
We are?
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, somewhat, yes. I would like to also say that I remember early in my career hearing more experienced agents talk about this one particular appraiser that they just hated. They were so mad at this guy, but he always made really inappropriate notes in the notes section, and he was always super low, and it was a big scandal because then you would say, no, send me a new appraiser. As the listing agent, you'd be like, just send me a new one, and the new one would come out and everything would be fine.
Yes.
So he just got this really terrible reputation, and
then I think he latched onto it.
Like he wanted to make people miserable.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand appraiser. Sometimes I feel like we're on a bit of a power trip.
They can be, certainly.
They just hold too much power.
They hold a lot of power. And I think even they sometimes forget that appraisals are subjective.
It's subjective.
There is a clause in the appraisal that says this is plus or minus a percentage. Like this is a range.
Right. And when they come in at to the $500, I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. That's crazy talk. So normally appraisers are behind. They think the market, they don't know because they're using the last values.
Yes, they pull data from the past.
Right.
So they're not in the present.
They don't know if things are, taking forever to sell and thus having to come down on the price until it's closed.
Correct.
I mean, that's just how it works. Do you feel like you're hearing other people say that appraisals are coming in low?
I have not been getting too much feedback on that. One friend just called me that hers came in low and she was
Okay.
asking me for advice, but she said she knew it was going to.
Oh, she was suspecting.
Yeah, but she said it was a big gap to close. And it's a tricky thing.
So tricky. If you're new in the business, I remember this part of real estate school vividly, and that was 20 years ago, where they talk about the value of your property is what someone is willing to pay.
Right.
However, you then insert an appraiser who will tell you that's not actually the value of your property. I'm like, I don't understand.
I know.
Somebody said they wanted to pay this, and now you're telling me it's not worth that. But by the definition of value, it was just what somebody was willing to pay.
That's what they told me in school.
Why isn't this working?
Here's how I describe it to my clients.
Please tell us.
Because they all get, huffy and puffy that when you have a purchase agreement, the contract price most of the time is exactly the appraisal price.
Which, right, is also wild.
Yes. So I don't want to complain too much about that because I like that the appraiser sees what the buyer and the seller agreed to. Otherwise, we would be having, if they were going in blind, we would have way more low appraisals, I think. But also, they might come in way higher.
I think you might have way more high ones, too. Okay, Alissa, tell people what we just added to Email Templates 101.
So our templates, 12 buyer emails, 19 seller emails covering every step of a transaction.
The ones that make you sound like you have your life together, even on the days that you don't?
Right. Well, now they work with Claude, the AI tool, and I want to be really clear about what that actually does because it is not rewriting our templates.
No way. Our wording stays exactly as is. That's the whole point.
Exactly. What Claude does is help you set your templates up once with your name, your market, your voice, and your business details. Then, for every new client after that, you just give Claude the transaction details and it builds out your client emails with a checklist and send dates already mapped out to your timeline for that transaction.
They are still Hustle Humbly emails. You just stop doing the manual work around editing. Even more time saved.
We show you exactly how to set this up inside of Email Templates 101.
And if this sounds like Greek to you, we have a full 6-part Claude class inside of Hustle Humbly community.
Grab the templates at emailtemplates101.com. Work smarter, not longer, friends. So here's how I describe it to my clients. I say, the bank appraisal for a contract is the bank covering themselves. They are technically the new homeowners.
Yeah.
And they are saying, listen, appraiser, we have these emotional buyers and sellers looking for their home.
Yeah.
And they have agreed to a price. I'm going to tell you the price, and I just need you to go check it for me.
Yeah, is it
and
right?
make sure it is safe and sound for us to invest money in this transaction at that price.
Because if the buyer doesn't pay their mortgage, the bank owns a house. They want to make sure it's worth
what it's worth.
Bought it for.
Yes.
I mean, they don't want to get stuck with something that they paid too much for.
It's really not even for the buyer.
At all.
No.
At all.
I mean, the buyer pays for it, but it is for the bank.
For sure. Which is why we've noticed in the last few years so many appraisal waivers.
Yes.
If the buyer's putting 20% down. So if the buyer's putting in 20%, the bank will just do one of those online valuations and just say, yeah, we can waive a full appraisal because you have so much skin in this game that even if you stop paying the mortgage and you had technically overpaid 5 or 10%, we've got plenty of room here.
Plenty of room.
To sell this and get it off our books.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And that's exactly why the appraiser is sent out and knows the contract price. He is checking it.
Yeah. So now you get less. I feel like I've had less appraisals in the last 5 years.
I also have had less appraisals. But as people are trying to keep their cash on hand and not wanting to put as much down,
appraisals,
I'm seeing more appraisals.
Back. Yeah.
So it's like when people have a lot of cash, appraisals can be waived a lot of the time depending on the loan type. But clearly, all 3 of my transactions right now, we did not receive a appraisal waiver.
Okay. So let's talk about them.
Okay.
Let's start with...
Should we go in an order? Should we?
You tell me which way you want to do this. I know you still have one sort of in process.
Yeah, like as we speak, I just got off the phone.
I want you to start with the one that's resolved.
Okay. The first one that that came in low is the one that I was a little worried about.
Okay.
Here's why.
Mm-hmm.
The house is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The cleanest, very well decorated.
Okay.
But doesn't necessarily have the big ticket items that appraisers give value for.
Okay.
So in an appraisal, there is a line that says no significant updates have been made in the last 15 years.
Okay.
It's usually given next to the condition.
Okay.
They don't tell us this,
Mm-hmm.
but I know because I was an appraiser for a hot minute and my dad and sister still are.
Right.
That only applies to the kitchen and bathrooms. So
you can't really update a bedroom.
Right. But that they're also not looking at new windows.
Doesn't count.
When they are talking about renovations, they mean to the kitchen and bathroom.
Okay.
While this home was not renovated there, the bathroom and kitchen was lovely, clean, and neutral.
Okay.
It had older granite, but the cabinets were still I would have lived with them just fine. The bathroom was neutral. Nothing was offensive, but it was not upgraded.
Okay.
Okay. So
how old was this house, did you tell us?
It was about 20 years old.
Okay.
It was probably a little less, 18,
Will you give us a price? I don't want you to give away what the house, I don't want people to be able to look it up.
Sure.
Give me a price range, 300 to 400, what 100,000 range
it
was
was
it
in the 300s, upper 300s.
Okay.
So we were looking at comps,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also tricky because some houses in the neighborhood have been so well maintained. Some have been completely renovated. Some are in need of actual repair.
Okay.
So not all comps are created equal.
No.
The other hard thing is I just had a buyer in this neighborhood. So we had looked at a bunch. And there was one in particular that the pictures were pretty good. But you walk in and that thing is torn up.
Ew.
Needs all new floors. They're peeling. You can't see that in photos.
Mm-hmm.
There was actual damage to the sheetrock. They were trying to figure out how would we even fix this if we bought this house. Well, don't you know, that was used as one of my comps.
And you were like, no, I've been in that house.
Yeah, not comparable at all. And it did eventually sell for significantly less.
Because it was in terrible shape.
Yes.
Okay.
So this appraisal, I was expecting it to come in 10,000 below.
Okay.
It came in 20,000 below.
In the high 300 price range.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
It was, when I saw the price it appraised for, I strongly disagreed. And so at the listing appointment, when I talked to my sellers,
mm-hmm.
we sat at the table and looked through comps together and even scrolled through some photos. And they even had some insight on some of the homes I hadn't been in. We picked a price and we had a very firm discussion that if we have not had good activity in the first 10 days, we are too high.
Okay.
Because I know this is going to be on the high end of the comps. And they said, understood. And we all agreed. And we even talked about what price we would go to if we were not having the activity. So photo day comes and I'm taking my videos of photo day for socials.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be on the market the next day. And a realtor sees it on my stories.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, where is this? Tell me about it. And she says, listen, my people are in a huge hurry. Their house is under contract. We are past inspections and they are about to be homeless. And they were about to settle on some not great houses just because they have to choose a house. But this looks perfect. Can I get in? So I'm like, sure, absolutely. So they go that evening and they write a full price offer. So it's tricky because we never got to really test the market.
Okay.
And they needed a home and they loved the home and they did not want to risk losing it. And when you're in that position, $10,000 financed over 30 years.
Not a big deal.
It's just not a big deal to them.
Sure.
Well, fast forward, and the appraisal is significantly lower than any number I had really prepared my sellers for.
20,000.
Yes.
Than what you were under contract for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I began the appraisal dispute process.
All right. Walk us through what that looks like.
Oh my gosh.
It's so painful.
It is so painful. So here's how it can be very overwhelming. So you just have to take it one step at a time.
It's overwhelming to read an appraisal.
Yes.
Much less try to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes. It took me about 2 hours.
Okay. Tell us what you did.
The first thing I did was I started a Word doc or a Google Drive doc, and I typed out the 3 comps he used.
Okay.
I pulled them up in MLS, and I looked at them, and I made notes.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was making notes, I was like, dang, these are pretty low sales. Like, did I miss something? But I hadn't done a deep dive yet. I was just looking at the comps he used.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed every single comp was 300 to 500 square feet different than mine.
Okay.
So, also, this is not a huge house. So,
Right.
that was a big number.
Yeah.
And therefore, big adjustments had to be made.
Right.
And at first, I was thinking, oh no, like, surely this isn't the value. So, I just made all my notes because I wanted to say the differences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is he giving credit for the generator we have?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I'm representing my seller doing an appraisal dispute, I feel, a little bit like this. One time when I was in high school, I was on a debate team, okay? And this is what they did to us. And we didn't know.
Oh, I feel like you've told the story.
You are assigned a topic.
Right.
Okay.
A point of view.
Yeah, what's something we can debate? Okay, Skittles or M&Ms, okay? So I'm pro M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go up there and prepare to debate to tell you why M&Ms are better.
Mm-hmm.
Then you show up on the debate day, and the surprise twist is that you are representing the other side, and you don't have time to research.
Mm-hmm.
I am now representing Skittles.
Yeah.
And I have to forget everything I believed about M&Ms because that's the challenge.
Right.
Sometimes when you're disputing an appraisal, you don't necessarily fully disagree.
Right.
With everything.
With the appraiser.
But it is my job, and I am being paid to dispute this thing.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Look, the goal of the seller was to sell for that price. The goal of the buyer was to buy for that price.
Yep.
Everyone wants the same result except for the appraiser.
Yes.
So it's okay that you're like, I have to figure it out.
Yes. So my step 1 was analyzing the comps used.
Mm-hmm.
Anything he gave adjustments for, like if there was a pool or if there was an outdoor kitchen or if there was a this or if there was a that, I go look at those things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang, I didn't even know that one had an outdoor kitchen. So then I go to the
photos.
The photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the outdoor kitchen? It is a broken sink in a rotten cabinet that's like falling down.
And how much value did that give?
$5,000.
Like,
I'm like, I would pay $5,000 to remove that. So I actually, in my appraisal dispute, submitted that photo.
Yeah, like this is not
an outdoor kitchen. Broken sink outside is like, it's actually an eyesore.
Right.
And so I found mistakes like that he gave credit to other houses for.
Okay.
I did side-by-sides of our outdoor living spaces to show that we should not be penalized $5,000 for not having this broken sink out there.
Right.
But hey, what about our extra patio cover? And what about our grill station? Like, none of these other places had that.
Sure.
So I went through and made notes on all the comps that were used in the appraisal. And then I read through the actual appraisal with a fine-tooth comb to see if there were any details that I needed to dispute. I did try to dispute the condition adjustment that was given. He had given me a C3, to which I said, we have brand new roof, brand new HVAC. They replaced the windows. Like
this house is not.
It's not
in bad condition.
No. So I just tried
What's
to.
What's a C3?
Average.
Okay.
Which I think the reason that is such a tricky one for the appraisers is because it's so broad. they don't want to go C4, C5 unless you're in like a custom new construction. But they have condition adjustments and then they have quality adjustments. So Q1 through 5, C1 through 5, and that may change at some point. I don't know. But basically, any house in this particular neighborhood would have been given a C3.
Okay.
Unless you gutted it to the studs and did something incredible here. But they considered the things we did just maintenance, which I kind of knew when I was typing it out. But I also felt like it was important for him to know because, yes, it is maintenance. People have to replace their roof, but people don't always have to replace all their windows. I was pushing.
Okay. Let's back up. Did you send the email when the appraiser was going out originally with all of your sellers' upgrades and like the year when they were done?
I did.
So they had good information.
They had all the information they needed.
They just ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
So, or they just didn't give it value at the time. So here's the problem though. I finished the analysis of the appraisal and I was feeling pretty discouraged. Like I didn't
you thought it might be accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I ran comps. And there were 3 beautiful comps, 1 street over, in our neighborhood that were the exact same size as ours.
That they did not use.
That were way better that they did not use.
Why didn't they use them? Did they say?
He never said.
But did he add one?
He ended up, I submitted my dispute explaining like the comps that were used were not even comparable. Here's what I think happened. I noticed he used comps all on my street. Mm-hmm. This isn't a big neighborhood.
Yeah, you could use one street away.
Yeah, I can walk there. I can see it from. Yeah. I can see their roof from the driveway of the subject property.
Weird. That's just lazy-ish, maybe. I don't know.
I was like, what is happening? So I submitted those. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't going to get us to contract price, but it should have gotten us, like maybe we would fall short 5,000 to 8,000.
Okay.
Not 20.
Okay.
So at this point, now here's the other good news. When I called my sellers, I had like a rock in my stomach because this is a big number.
Stop. You didn't call them before you reviewed it though, did you?
No, I got through the dispute first, and then I called them.
This is crucial information.
Yes.
I would never get a low appraisal, like a lender calls or the agent calls or someone emails you. I would never turn around and immediately tell the seller.
No, because do you know what their first thing is why? Is it a good appraisal? Did they make a mistake? Well, I don't know because I haven't reviewed it yet.
Yeah, no.
So I got the phone call. Got a copy of the appraisal sent to my email right after, panicked, and immediately went to work on this. Mm-hmm. Like, dropped everything I was doing to knock this out.
Yeah.
2 hours later, I took a deep breath and went, I'm ready to make this phone call. So I called them. I'm like, listen, I have bad news. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
The appraisal came in low, like really low.
Low.
They're like, how low? I'm like, 20,000. And they're like, I mean, you did say that we might need to prepare for a low appraisal, but that's low. But I thought to myself, thank God we had all of those talks. And here's the other thing that helped me too. After the listing appointment, I sent them an email recapping the listing appointment. It was so great to meet you. You have a lovely house. Here's the list of things you need to do to get the house ready per our conversation. Here are the comps we talked about. And we agreed that we would start at this price. And if in 10 days it didn't have showings, we would go to this price. And then we would see how the market is
How much
adjusting.
lower was the second price?
10,000.
Okay. So in between what they ended up with and what the appraisal was.
Yes.
Keep going.
So in their mind, they were not completely shocked.
Right.
Which was helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful. And I even was able to go back to that email when I was like, what comps did I use? Mm-hmm. When I was sitting at their table 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Like where did I come up with this?
Right.
So I resubmitted the dispute. I attached side-by-side photos. I explained like I asked for these comps to be used and the comps that were used to be thrown out because they are so large. The adjustments are huge. And at the end of the day, the appraiser did adjust it upward $7,000.
Okay.
I think that's a little petty. I think I should have at least gotten 10.
Okay.
I was more upset about it than my sellers were.
Right.
When I got the news that he came up $7,000, so now we have a $13,000 gap.
Mm-hmm.
I was equally thankful that he came up at all.
At all.
Because a lot of times they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was equally aggravated that I didn't get a little bit more.
Okay. I want to ask a couple of questions about the actual dispute and what that looks like.
Yeah.
So you send an email to the lender.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say in the email?
Please see attached appraisal dispute.
Okay. And then what is in that?
So it starts off with, I am respectfully asking for reconsideration of the value of 1234 Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
And please see below why. And you have to keep it very precise.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot use any feeling words.
No feeling words.
I feel the house is worth. I feel the granite in this kitchen. I believe.
This appraisal is bad.
Right.
Because the appraiser is going to get this dispute.
It can have no feelings.
Yeah.
No emotions.
Right.
It needs to be written as factual as possible.
Yeah.
Only the facts.
Yeah.
And I had to read it about 5 times.
Yeah, to make sure
to check myself.
I mean, you are on the defense, but you can't come across as defensive and emotional.
Correct.
Okay.
So it needs to be
facts.
precise.
Just the facts.
Just the facts.
Just the facts.
You also need to be very careful talking to ChatGPT or AI to do your appraisal dispute for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that it can review an appraisal, but it doesn't know that the house that the appraiser said has an outdoor kitchen isn't actually an outdoor kitchen.
Right.
That took a human, me, going through all these photos, making notes. Like, you cannot rely on it to do it for you. You have to. It can give you some pointers and some tips, but you need to fact check everything. And it does not always, it's not always accurate, is what I'm saying. Because you have to know these houses.
Right. Because
if the appraiser makes a mistake, the computer doesn't know it's a mistake.
You right, exactly.
It just thinks, oh, it must have a really awesome $5,000 outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
So all of that to say, when I called my sellers to tell them that the appraiser came up $7,000, his immediate response was, all right, let's just do it.
Right, at least it's something.
He didn't push back. And I thought, okay, well, he's not as upset as I am. And they're at terms with it. And I'm okay with it. It wasn't far from where we talked about landing overall. So thankfully, they were good, reasonable sellers. They were very thankful. They wanted to see my appraisal dispute.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe how good they were so thankful.
Yeah.
And they were surprised it didn't give more, but they were just happy to have more.
Let's talk a little bit about what the options would have been. So when you're the listing agent and the buyer's agent lets you know that there's been a low appraisal, there's a time frame in our contract that says how long you have to respond.
Yes, 72 hours is typical.
So what are the choices? The choices are request a dispute.
Yep.
Agree to lower the price to whatever the appraisal amount is. And that's kind of your only choices right there.
Yeah.
Then the ball is in the buyer's court.
Yeah. And the buyers actually had to give me permission to dispute this appraisal.
Really?
In both cases.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
it's their appraisal.
If they want to stick with it and see if the seller comes down or not, it's their choice.
Yeah.
But if the seller says, no, I won't come down.
They know they're not going to pay the difference.
Then they cancel.
Yeah.
Deal's off.
Right.
And here's the most important part. House goes back on the market, gets a new buyer, even at the very same price, could get a much different appraisal.
100%.
Because every appraiser is not going to come up with the same number. At all.
Right.
Okay. Fascinating.
And when I responded, once I got the appraisal, I responded to the buyer's agent and the lender, and I said, thank you for sending. I will have an appraisal dispute sent your way shortly. To which the lender said, let me send you the appraisal dispute form.
There's a form. Okay.
Which I was like, I hate this form. It's basically a blank appraisal. Now, this one wasn't too bad. It was more of like a questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, were there actual mistakes? Did you find errors? Do you have comps that you want thrown out? Do you have new comps? Was something missed? So I think they're sort of vetting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't just
be like, do it again.
Do it again.
Just do it again.
Yeah, you have to have data and ammunition.
Right. Okay.
So I answered the questions pretty vaguely, but kept saying, see attached, see attached, see attached, where I had it all
written out,
mm-hmm. Very easy to read, photos, bullet points, and things like that.
Okay.
So then the buyer, I submitted my dispute. The buyer's agent had to sign it before the lender would submit it. If the buyers did not sign the appraisal dispute, I would not have been able to submit it.
Okay.
I inquired about, well, that's on the next one.
Okay. So. All right. That makes sense. What about calling an appraiser?
I was so aggravated with this particular appraiser because I think this is my 6th or 7th contract, including my personal home that he cut.
Also known to be a low appraiser.
I actually do refer him out sometimes to sellers who think their house is made of gold.
Right. They're like, you like, talk to this guy.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe you should get an appraiser. Call him.
Call this guy.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny.
He's probably like, man, she really hates me, but she sends me a lot of business.
Yes, you're serving a purpose, sir.
Right.
A real purpose.
And many of you may ask, well, why don't you just use your dad? And the answer to that is, I can't.
Right.
If he gets any of my orders through the bank, he has to decline them.
Because there's a conflict.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even want to use him as a pre-listing because it's just, he and I disagree sometimes.
Well, also, I think it's important as an agent and as a homeowner to understand the appraiser also gives you different values based on the goal of the appraisal.
Yes.
If you're going to take out a HELOC, a second, home equity line of credit, and your house has to be appraised, or if you're refinancing your mortgage for whatever reason, the appraiser doesn't have a number. They don't have a contract. They just try and make it as high as possible
to help you get your renovations done.
Because that's what the bank actually wants.
Yes.
They're like, we want to give you money, so let's show that your house is worth a lot. Whereas when an appraiser gets called to appraise for a sale, they have a contract with a price on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I think most appraisers do their best to get to the price and pick the right comps.
I agree.
But data can be used in both directions. Mm-hmm. You can find data to make the price be lower. You can find data to make the price be higher.
And I feel as a seller's agent, it is my job to push it as high as I can possibly push it so that we're not leaving money on the table. The appropriate way to handle this is to not contact the appraiser.
Yeah.
It is to submit your dispute to the lender, let the lender get it to the appraiser, let the appraiser make adjustments or not, let the underwriter review it, and then we have our answer. And it is what it is.
I have called an appraiser in the past to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, can you clarify something or explain to me something?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still probably best to just not have contact.
Yeah. I was so mad. I was like, I am not calling him. I am just, you will never come into one of my listings again. But then at the end of it, I had simmered down a bit because I was like, it was a hard one.
Okay.
It was.
Are we ready so everyone was happy?
Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, the buyers surely were happy.
Yes, very happy.
But the sellers were fine.
They're okay.
Okay. It only really ended up being $3,000 less than kind of what you prepared them for.
Right.
It could have been so much worse.
I guess I won't get my new car.
Oh, sorry, sir. Okay. Do we want to do the next one?
Yeah, we'll just end with, the bigger one. So let's go to the small one.
Please.
Because this is a short story.
Very short.
I actually have the buyers.
Okay, great.
And it's in a neighborhood where it's a huge neighborhood. So there is no shortage of comps. I felt very good about this purchase on behalf of my buyers.
Were you paying close to list price?
Yeah. But it
Okay.
was a great house, and it was new to the market.
Okay.
And
yeah, give us a point of reference, the 100,000s price range.
This one was like right at 300.
Okay, keep going.
And it also made me realize I can't remember the last time I had a buyer appraisal come in low. Because I am pretty firm with my buyers
and with
about
the offer
overpaying.
They make. Yeah. Okay.
I'm checking comps. I'm like, I have to sell this for you one day. We cannot overpay. So this one just wasn't really on my radar. And I get a call from the listing agent. And it was the day after I had just disputed this $20,000 gap. And I was waiting to hear back on it. So I'm just in that headspace. She's like, hey, I know this is really annoying, but the appraiser – oh, no.
The lender called you.
The lender called me.
Yeah.
The appraisal came in $3,000 below value.
You're like,
3,000?
That's very small.
That's very small. Like, you couldn't just
figure it out, sir.
Pick a different comp.
There's a million to choose from.
Yeah, you can pick any house, and you could have made this work very easily.
Right.
And then I checked the comps and was like, plenty to choose from.
Here,
and then I was like, so glad I don't have to dispute this because
there was so much information.
Yeah. So I sent it to the listing agent, let her know, and she called me back within an hour and was like, all right, well, we're just going to drop the price and, take $1,500 from closing costs.
Okay.
They were paying like $9,000 in closing costs.
Okay.
So taking $1,500 wasn't that big of a deal. And technically, my clients will come out $1,500 ahead from where we were.
Right, because the price came down 3.
Yeah, price came down 3. So we're ahead.
Okay.
The buyers didn't necessarily feel that way.
Yeah.
And didn't want to give up any of their closing costs.
Right.
But the listing agent had already sent me an addendum with the price. Like, they had made up their mind.
Seller had chosen,
this is how I want to handle it. They did not want to dispute it. They didn't feel like it was worth it. I don't know how I feel about that. I would have disputed it probably.
Yeah.
But she did not want to dispute it.
I mean, the seller, I guess, gets to choose.
Yeah.
But your buyer could have also said, I need all these closing costs.
They could have.
What did you have a sense of what the next step would have been if the buyer had stood firm with, I need these closing costs?
The negotiations on this one had been pretty, I don't want to say intense, but they weren't giving a lot.
Yeah.
And I would have guessed from how negotiations went in the beginning that they would have said, fine, we'll reduce the price $3,000, but we're taking $3,000 of your closing costs.
Yeah, they would.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So from my point of view,
they did better than you thought they would.
Yes. So then and I tried to deliver it that way to the buyer.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, can we tell them we want the fridge? Tell them. And I was like, okay, I can ask about the fridge if that would help. But then the seller had made it clear like the fridge wasn't staying. And so after I got off the phone with them and I talked to you a little bit, you sort of helped because I was feeling like my buyer thought I wasn't fighting for them enough.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to go to bat.
Yeah.
But then I also needed to realize that by going to bat, the seller, like you said, could rescind their offer.
Like, you know what? Never mind. If us giving you this $1,500 gift is not enough, we don't want to do any of it.
Yeah, we'll keep it all. We'll go back on the market.
I just have had it happen enough times for a seller or a buyer to change their mind after they said something that I'm like, I just hate to tempt fate, especially over a fridge, because I've lost a whole deal over it.
Right.
And it's like, it's just such a fine line. And really, it's about you taking a temperature of the other side.
Yes. And I knew the temperature.
Agent, seller, the whole vibe. Like, if I push a little more, am I going to get something from my buyer or am I going to live to regret it?
I did not want to call about the fridge.
Yeah.
I did not think it would go well with the information that I knew.
Yeah.
So after thinking on it, talking with you, realizing, Alissa, they could not give you $1,500. They have that right to say that, you know? So I called my client back. I said, listen, I don't want you to feel like I am not fighting for you, but I was thinking if we push, I need you to know what the risks are.
Yeah, that's important.
You need to know what the risks are before you ask me to go push.
Yeah.
The risk is that if I say, well, now we want the fridge if you're taking our closing costs, they could say, well, then fine, we're just not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
And that could happen.
Yeah.
And that is a gamble.
Yeah.
And I cannot be the one to make that choice.
Right. And what did the buyer say?
They were like, oh, I guess that makes sense. I said, it has to be your choice.
Yeah.
She said, let's just sign it and move on. Let's just get to the closing table.
Yeah.
I said, I think that's best. I think that's safest.
Yeah. It's just such a hard pill to swallow as the buyer when $3,000 off the price changes your monthly mortgage almost nothing.
Right.
But $3,000 in your pocket is a lot of money.
Yes.
So it's just really, really hard to reconcile that. I mean, it is taking a loss. Whether they won and got extra $1,500, it's over 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
Like this is not, if you gave, I don't even know what the math is, but if we divided $1,500 by 30 years, we would all be like, oh, was it really worth it?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So I understand, but also if they want the house, it's sort of these are the risks you take. But I like the way that you always tell people, I just have to give you the risks and you tell me what you want to do.
You have to make an educated decision.
Yeah, I can't just make the choices for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Alissa, tell people what we just added to Email Templates 101.
So you know our templates, 12 buyer emails, 19 seller emails, covering every step of a transaction.
The ones that make you sound like you have your life together, even on the days that you don't?
Right. Well, now they work with Claude, the AI tool, and I want to be really clear about what that actually does because it is not rewriting our templates.
No way. Our wording stays exactly as is. That's the whole point.
Exactly. What Claude does is help you set your templates up once with your name, your market, your voice, and your business details. Then, for every new client after that, you just give Claude the transaction details and it builds out your client emails with a checklist and send dates already mapped out to your timeline for that transaction.
They are still Hustle Humbly emails. You just stop doing the manual work around editing. Even more time saved.
We show you exactly how to set this up inside of Email Templates 101.
And if this sounds like Greek to you, we have a full 6-part Claude class inside of Hustle Humbly community.
Grab the templates at emailtemplates101.com. Work smarter, not longer, friends.
Okay, are you ready to give me the last one?
The last shebang.
Yeah, we don't know the full outcome of this, but I want to hear it just so far.
Okay. So I actually sold this house to these clients way back in the day. And may I tell you, I was never more happy to run numbers for them and tell them what we could sell it for.
Look at what you got.
Yes.
Okay.
They bought at an amazing time. I loved this house so much. It's one I would consider buying for myself. Like I just love it. I love the layout. So many great things about it. So we ultimately went on the market at $825.
Okay.
And within the first week, we had a lot of showings and we got a good offer. A full price, no concessions,
wow.
$825.
Okay.
So we're like signed.
Great.
Done.
Perfect.
Awesome. I felt good about it. It was a little tricky to price because this house was like 4,000 square feet.
Okay.
The comps were either like 3,200 square feet or 5,000 square feet. There were no comps that were close at all to our size.
Yes.
So I knew we were like adjustments would have to be made, and I felt really good about $825.
Okay.
My seller even thought it was a little too high.
They were excitedly, they were like, wow, okay.
And I even told them at the listing appointment, I'm not used to people being so happy when I tell them what I think we can sell.
You're like, just if only I could look in my crystal ball into the future.
Yeah. I had no reservations about $825.
Okay.
So we go on the market, we get past inspections, everything is going well. The appraiser goes. I had never heard of this appraiser. I still don't know who he is. I sent him the email. I let him know all the special features and this and that. I never even got a thank you for that, by the way. And then
a lot of times they don't even acknowledge they received it.
No, they don't.
And I'm like, hey, did you get the email?
Right.
Okay, keep going.
So then I get a call from the buyer's agent, and she is like, I just have really bad news. And I was like, what? And she was like, the appraisal. I said, the appraisal?
Oh, you were like, this is not the news I was expecting.
No, and I'm coming off of 2 others.
You're like, I can't do this again.
In the same week.
I cannot do this again.
And she's going, I know, I'm shocked. I said, just tell me. Just rip the Band-Aid off. What's the number? She said, $770. $55,000. And I'm just spent.
You were like, maybe I don't know how to price houses anymore.
Maybe I'm no good at this.
It's time for me to go.
I'm no good at this.
I'm terrible.
So I said, okay, well, let me get to the computer and send it to me. And
because her buyers were saying, obviously, we must dispute this.
Yes.
I mean, no one's expecting a seller to sell it for $55,000 less.
This lender, same policy, had to send me a form. It was a different looking form, but basically asked the same questions. I did say, and I said to the lender and the agent, who I like both of them, I said, I have never had to do an appraisal dispute of this magnitude.
Right.
What is the option of getting a new appraisal?
Yeah, just start again.
And he said, there has to be an actual factual errors in this report to request a new one.
Okay. Did you find factual errors?
So I start where I start and I look at the comps that were used. And here is one thing that hurt me on this one. When I sat down with my sellers 2 months prior, the comps looked pretty good. There was one that was for sale that I wished had asked higher, and I was a little worried that they were still on the market because although smaller than us, they had a pool, and I just thought, I wonder why they're not selling. Well, don't you know it closed like a week before this appraisal, and it was the lowest comp.
It was the one causing you trouble.
Yes, and it wasn't there.
Because it was the most recent.
Yes.
And similar.
Had a pool. So, I'm looking through, and then the other 2 comps were much higher, and they're comps I used when I was pricing this house.
I mean, it's a good time to point this out. If the appraiser uses 3 comps, they don't then take an average. They weight one more than the others, right?
I think.
That's what they've told me. So, like, they were probably weighing this unfortunate comp the most.
And I think comp number 3 should have been the most similar, and that was in my dispute.
Okay.
So I'm like looking at the appraisal. I haven't gone into MLS yet. I open my Word doc. I delete the other address of the other one.
I've already got this pulled up.
Yes. So I was like, okay, it actually went about a little bit faster. So I type out the 3 addresses of the comps used, and I'm looking at the appraisal, and the appraisal says like pool, pool, pool. Okay, they all have pools. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, let's look at the photos. Okay, well, they all look kind of similar. Okay, what's happening? So the biggest adjustments were in the square footage column.
Okay.
I mean, the houses are 500 square feet different.
Yeah.
And he only used the smaller ones, which is fine. But it was like $50,000 to $60,000 adjustments because of the size differential.
Okay.
So in this specific appraisal, I did some math and noticed he was only adjusting $85 a square foot per living area.
The difference.
And the reason that he was using that number, as my dad explained to me, is that you are only adjusting for living area.
Okay.
Price per square foot includes the pool value, the lot value. Okay. Like he's like saying, okay, if we took the price and it didn't come with the land and it didn't come with a pool, what is the value of and didn't have a garage?
Just the living area.
What would just the living area be?
Okay.
And my dad said 85 is a number I use, but it's very conservative for this neighborhood. That's like a number I would use in a starter home neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where it's just like track builder.
Where houses are half the price.
Yes.
Okay.
He said, in this neighborhood where all the homes are luxury homes, custom built homes, I usually use a number closer to $95 a square foot or $100.
Okay.
So I thought, thank you, Dad.
That's
I'm going to include this in my appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have helped tremendously.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, all these have pools, all these have this, and I have that ammunition from my dad, but I'm still feeling like this is not a good dispute.
Yeah.
Well, I'm scrolling through photos again, a second time.
Okay.
And realize comp number 2 has no pool.
Even though it said it did.
Yes. It was an actual error.
Mistake.
I found the mistake.
Okay.
And that was what I needed to
Okay.
like really get this dispute. Because regardless of what he thinks, he has to reopen this appraisal and fix it. So
Yeah.
I know it's going to come up a little bit.
Yeah.
I also tried because house number 1, the lowest one, had a very old pool.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hot tub, there's no fountain, there's no fire features like, the lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
My pool is 5 years old, has a tanning ledge, has a built-in overflow hot tub spa, has a fountain,
Mm-hmm.
has gas lanterns, all the things. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Fancy pool.
We were not given any credit at all
Mm-hmm.
for that.
For fancy pool.
Comp number 2 had no pool at all.
Mm-hmm.
Comp number 3 had a pool just like ours, and it was the highest comp.
Okay.
It had the hot tub. It
Mhm.
had all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my dispute, I asked for 3 things. A correction to be made to comp number 2 reflecting it does not have a pool.
Fair. This is black and white.
Yes. Number 2, I am asking for a reconsideration of the valuation given for the living area square footage. I believe $85 a square foot is too conservative for this neighborhood.
Okay.
Based on the data and being a custom home, high-end neighborhood, using a price per square foot closer to 95 or 100 would be more appropriate. I am asking for a reconsideration of value given to living area.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I was asking for some sort of value given for the spa hot tub because it is built into the pool. It is like an actual feature. It's not like a plug-in. Like it looks amazing.
Okay.
And comp number 3 sold much higher
And had that.
And so anywho, I submit my dispute and I just got it back this morning of this recording, and they brought it up to $800,000.
So they gave you back $30,000.
Yes.
Okay. Still $25,000 off of sales price.
Correct.
But we don't know what your seller is going to opt to do.
I felt really good that it started with an 8.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I just thought that's going to just help the medicine go down, right?
Right.
Like, let's just. So it's the biggest dispute progress victory I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I knew it's not what they wanted. So I had to call them. I said, listen, it came in at 800. And they were not happy.
Yeah.
But I'm also giving them this news and hearing their reaction
Real time.
Yeah. And they're realizing the reality of the situation. And they start saying, well, why don't we get a second appraisal? Why don't we get a second appraisal? And I said, I will. And I said, it is my professional opinion now that I am looking at this appraisal that we are now within the market. A second appraisal could come in lower. It's not that I'm not
lower than 8.
Lower than 8.
We don't think 770 should have ever been the case.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, keep going.
No, definitely not.
But it could be lower than 8.
Yeah, I think it could be higher than 8. But do you want to go back on the market, get through another round of home inspections, go through another appraisal, or do you want to close in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, these are our options. And they were at one point saying, well, you said that you felt confident at 825. I said, that was 2 months ago when we were sitting at your table. When I was sitting at your table. That house down the street had not closed yet.
Yeah.
It is now
It
a
hurts.
closed sale, and it hurts us.
A lot.
It just does. And I'm sorry about it, but it is what it is. And it's going to keep hurting us.
Yeah. For like 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And they I said, listen, why don't y'all sleep on this? Because they're like, we're not doing this. And I said, okay, I know this is a lot to digest. It's a lot of big news. I need y'all to sleep on it. And a few minutes later, he texted me and was like, what do you think we should do? And I said, I think, so during due diligence, we had agreed to $10,000 towards just general things, nothing specific really. Just, I said, I think we should go to 800 and not offer that 10,000 anymore. The buyer will be getting 25,000 off the price.
Yeah.
So it'll be a $15,000
loss for you.
And I think that's as good as we could hope for.
Yeah.
I said, it is my professional opinion that we do not start over.
Yeah.
And at some point when I was first delivering the news, they did bring up, you said in the beginning, and then I explained, and then we got into the weeds a little bit discussing it. And I was pushing back against what they were saying, and they felt like I wasn't pushing for them enough.
Like I did.
And I said, we are only at 800 because of how much I have pushed.
Yeah.
And they were receptive to that, and they were very kind about it.
Yeah.
But emotions are high right now.
Well, yeah. $25,000 is a lot of dollars.
A lot of dollars. So it's been interesting, and I can't believe I had to do 2 extremely long, lengthy appraisal disputes in the same week.
I know.
It was very eye-opening to me. It's making me think different about everything. Like, everything.
Well, let me tell you, I still am not convinced that appraisers in this capacity won't be phased out
by the computers.
By the computers.
I know.
And part of me wonders if these people are just trying to like put their final stamp on.
Yeah.
They're not going to control the market forever.
No. And I will say this one that brought me up to 800, he did fix the mistake on comp number 2.
Yeah.
For the pool.
Yeah.
He did not give any extra value for our hot tub spa, the quality of the pools, and he did not adjust living area at all. He stayed with his $85 a square foot. I truly believe that this house would be worth anywhere from $800 to $835.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
I believe that. The comps to me show it. I did the best I could.
I mean, the problem is that if the seller's like, no, we really believe that it's $825 or whatever, and they go back on the market, you also then have the new buyers asking, why did it go back on the market?
I know.
How do you even circumvent that?
Right. And nobody wants to overpay.
No.
And my sellers have their movers scheduled. And I said, once your house is empty, we have to paint the entire interior and get new carpet. There is your 15 right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we need to get to the closing table.
Oh.
So I don't know.
So they're sleeping on it right now?
They're sleeping on it right now.
That's good. That's a great tip.
My prediction is we will go to appraised value, but they will not get concessions. And everyone will feel, the buyers will feel, and the sellers will both feel a little meh at the closing table.
Right. No one's going to be jazzed.
No one's going to be jumping with joy.
I mean, the buyer should be.
Yeah. They might be. They might be.
I mean, if I got a house for $25,000 less than I thought, I'd be pretty jazzed.
Right. I agree. So,
but sometimes buyers just then say, well, I was paying too much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, that's how my buyer felt. My buyer was when we had the $3,000 low appraisal.
Right. They're like, well, I guess I was paying too much before.
Yeah. Like, why is it my fault that I have to give up closing costs because they overpriced their house?
Yeah.
But that wasn't really the situation.
Yeah.
So.
I think an important takeaway too is it is your job as the listing agent to do your best to, try and dispute
Mm-hmm.
and get that money back for your seller. If you really, whether you think you have to make an effort,
Mm-hmm.
like even if it's grasping for straws, like, and you thought it was 10 high, but it came in 15 low, there's still $5,000 there.
Yeah.
I think you have to try. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just be like, well, all right.
Right.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And I think a lot of this comes up to, are you having these conversations at your listing appointments?
Yeah, you never want to be so firm with your seller that you're like, it's $825 and I have no reservations.
Right.
Just remember this episode and be like, look, I am seeing in the data it is this. However, anything could happen between now and when you sell.
Definitely.
Something could happen in the economy. Something could happen with another house closing.
They just announced like today as we're recording this that there's going to be another rate increase this year. Like, let's just not go back on the market, shall we? Like, let's
shall we?
this
is a bird in hand situation.
Yeah.
You should hold that birdie and keep it alive.
And it's a lot to manage as far as you're fighting for them, but you're having to keep their expectations reasonable. And sometimes they feel like you're not fighting for them, but you have to keep them grounded and remember, it is my professional opinion.
Yeah, you can't take it personally.
Correct.
They get to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a messenger with data.
Yep.
You're like, I'm doing the best I can for you.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fun topic.
Wild out there.
Oh, wait, you have a toast.
I do have a toast.
Okay, let me hear it.
All right. This toast is from Samantha Gonzalez Aycock with Berkshire Hathaway in Chicago.
Oh, I love it.
I would love to give a toast to Tina Marie Mateja in Downers Grove, Illinois. She has been my mentor since I started in real estate. And even though she works for another brokerage, she always takes my calls, walks me through processes, gives me advice, listens to me vent, gives me staging tips and pricing feedback. She is an incredible human being and a phenomenal realtor, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life.
Wow. Cheers to Tina.
Cheers to Tina from Samantha
awesome.
in Illinois.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yes.
A couple of times.
A few times. Going back soon.
A few times. It's like our place to go. No, we're going to Indiana.
But don't we connect there?
I think we do, actually.
Yeah.
We just live at the O'Hare Airport, I guess.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, everyone. Good luck out there. I hope all your appraisers are kind to you.
Yeah. Be kind to them, too. It's hard out there.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.